We still, I still see quite a few in the hall that are coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started just for time by introducing my coaches that are here, and then we'll get into kind of the heart and soul of why we're here, talk about what a wrestling match looks like. So while people are still coming in, we'll kind of knock out some introductions. So any of my coaches, come out here. High school coaches, come on. Freddie, I know you're here. Step out.
I'd be the one to drop it.
Any other coaches? I don't know who else here. Any of my youth coaches? Okay, I'm going to start out just real quick. This is not why we're here, but it's a good filler while we're waiting for everybody to come in. So I'm just going to go through the line and make sure you guys know who all these are. This is Coach Melton. Coach Melton wrestled here at Nixa and went to Maryville University and wrestled in college for a couple of years, and then transferred to Drury University and finished out his career there. He now teaches at the SCORE campus here at Nixa and coaches varsity football and wrestling with us. So we're glad to have Coach Melton back into our program. Next up is Coach Josh Downing. Coach teaches 5th and 6th grade PE at Summit Intermediate Elementary. He's in his 7th year here at Nixa. It seems like we just brought him on a few years ago, but he's been here for 7 years now and does a great job. Next up is Coach Eric Luby. I say he has a real job because he's not in the education world, like he goes out to this building and makes his money. But his job is somewhat flexible. It's hard nowadays with us starting practice at 2 o'clock to get coaches that aren't in the education world. But anyways, his job works well with him. So he comes in, he wrestled at Missouri Baptist University in St. Louis, and then moved back to where he's originally from, Kickapoo, moved back to this area. And he's been with us also about 6 or 7 years now. Somewhere in that time frame. Next up is Coach Kevin Carey. He's the tall guy. He coaches at our junior high and high school both. This is his 2nd year with us. He's coached some college football, coached some high school wrestling. He's kind of been through the gauntlet of sports, and his son is a junior, and I will introduce him maybe here in a little bit. But we're glad to have Coach Carey. Like I said, he's at the junior high, teaching there, coaches at the junior high, and then as soon as junior high season's over, he comes over and helps us coach the high school team. And then next up here is Coach Freddie Young. Hopefully some of you have seen Coach Young at the camp. He's a big part of our youth program. He's been in and out of our program 5-ish years. And he started out not like one of our main coaches, just brought his kid to wrestling and was like, man, I see an area I can help out. And so he's now a very, very large part of our youth program on the backside and on the mat side. He puts in a ton of time. I think we had an hour and a half Zoom call 2 nights ago, or 3, or no, I guess That was a week ago. Yeah, man, time goes fast. So he's always working, always thinking for Nixa Wrestling. So we're very blessed to have him. And we have a ton of coaches. I didn't even tell anybody to come. These guys are just awesome. They just showed up, so this was not part of it. So I'm going to let them go, and we'll move on to our main session. All right. And then Brad Neely, where you at, Brad? Come on out here. So Brad is at one point the Missouri Wrestling Official of the Year, and then more recently retired from officiating wrestling this last season. He's got a young son that may be here. I don't know if he's here or not. Not today. Okay. He's got a young son that just started our program, like 5-ish years old, and he resigned as a wrestling official so he can spend more time with his son and be a dad. And so anyways, one of the top officials in the state. He used to volunteer his time before he resigned, and I asked him to do so. So he's going to kind of help me walk through what a match looks like and give you guys proper mechanics and all that good stuff. So I see it from the coaching side, and he sees it from probably the more correct side, which is, less biased. So this is very informal. Bathrooms, 2 options: down the hall, almost to the commons on your left, or back down the stairs into the wrestling room, or into the weight room. I apologize. Okay, so you have 2 options on bathrooms. I think we have lots of donuts, refills, coffee. Spills will happen. I know we're very odd. It's maybe the only time of the year we have food and drinks on our mats. I've thought through the risk. I'm okay with it. If we have spills, we're fine. We'll clean it up and move on. So we're gonna get right into our first topic, just for sake of time. And let's talk about uniforms, hair, jewelry, all the non-wrestling stuff that a lot of people new to wrestling never think about. So I will start with showing you, this has been our traditional club singlet. We will still use them. We have about 150 of them. We will rent or borrow these out, okay? Some parents choose to buy a singlet, and then it's theirs, and then they trade it back into us if it's still in good condition, and we take their size and upgrade it to a size that fits them. If you don't own one, then we usually take a singlet deposit, let you have it for the season after you sign up for your first tournament, and then get it back. Now, I do want to say a disclaimer real quick. We have 3 age levels here: high school, junior high, and youth. This is a youth conversation as far as the singlets. High school and junior high, you will be issued a singlet for the season. High school, we do it a little differently. We issue it and collect it every single time we compete, because we launder it, we store it, we keep it. You never take a singlet home. Junior high, I believe Coach Inman issues you a singlet and insures for the season, and then you return it. We did just order a new youth singlet this year. We got about 75 of these, so just a different look, and this is probably what we're going to start ordering in the future. But those are singlets. I've heard them called leotards, all kinds of stuff. The official name is singlets. It's a big worry that, like, oh, my kid doesn't want to wear that. What I've found is it's a huge worry going into the season, and then once we start wrestling the season going, like, nobody really ever cares, generally, okay? There is a 2-piece allowed. That's a newer rule about 4 or 5 years ago. So you can wear a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. You can't wear any shorts or t-shirt, but you can wear an approved pair of shorts or t-shirt, and there is options out there. I tell you what, we bought some in year 1. We were all excited, and like hardly anybody wanted them. Okay, we presented them, here's the options, and all the boys and the girls that were really concerned about this singlet, by the time it actually came to get the uniform, they're like, I'd rather wear that. Okay, the singlet. So just to kind of walk you through that process. Hair, that's changed. So girls have changed the game. Okay, so this used to be obviously a very heavy guys sport, and I can tell you we're right on track. I mean, we're excited to have girls. We're state runner-ups at the high school level. We have 30 probably in the junior high. We have about 25 to 27 on our high school team. Like, we're all in for girls wrestling. We're excited about it, but they changed the game. So back in the old day, you had to have hair above your eyes, above the back of your collar, and above the bottom of your ears. Okay, if you didn't have that, you would literally see coaches mat side cutting a kid's hair in order for them to wrestle a match, or they were disqualified, did not wrestle. So we have, wrestling has very strict rules. Girls changed the game. So like, we didn't know what to do. They originally told them they had to wear hair nets, and like, they hated it, obviously. And so wrestling got smart, and they said, the heck with it, like, just whatever. Okay, so there's some, if you have like dreads or beads or something that's abrasive, then there is some rules against that. But in general, there really is no hair rules anymore. Probably not going to matter for anybody in this age level, but facial hair used to be an absolute no-no. You could not have facial hair because it was hair below your eye or below your ear. You can now have facial hair, it just cannot be abrasive. Okay, it also has to be thin enough that an official can do a skin check and like see through the hair to make sure you don't have any sort of a skin condition underneath your hair. So again, probably not a huge topic for this age level. Jewelry, you can't have it when you wrestle. Can't wear rings, can't have piercings. Zero, yep. Hey, I coach 25 high school girls, got belly button rings, and they argue me, and I tell them, I said, sure, you know, I mean, if you can walk out there and get by with it, great, but if they catch it, like, you're gonna lose the match, okay? And it's happened. We had a girl deep in the third period, and she smiled, and the ref saw a tongue ring. And he said, take it out. She said, I'm not taking it out. This isn't your way of wrestling. And then he's like, you're out. So she lost the match. So you cannot have jewelry when you wrestle. I know I've got some girls that are concerned about their little nose rings closing up, and some of them take it out and go wrestle and put it right back in. So anything else on that? Rules for weigh-ins. So this is consistent on all levels. Wrestling's one of the oldest sports in the world, okay? I don't want to get too wild here, but I believe they actually wrestled naked, like in the prehistoric times, okay? We're not prehistoric anymore, but I will give you a quick timeline. Just 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, we were still, the rules still allowed, and this is when it was pretty much just boys wrestling, but I could walk up, I had to walk up to the scale in underwear. Anything, if I had anything else on, that was illegal. And I had the option with the official, opposing coaches, the rest of the team standing here, if I was a 10th over, I could drop my underwear and step on the scale, not wearing anything to make weight. That was just normal in wrestling. Like, I grew up wrestling. That, I mean, you know, looking back, it was like, whoa. But, so girls changed the game. So now, the rules for weighing in for boys or girls is you walk in with your singlet on, straps up, fully, just like you're gonna go wrestle, minus the shoes and socks, and you step on the scale and you make weight. Okay, there is no option to take the singlet off, there's no option to take the straps down. Again, we've simplified the sport, made it easier, less complications, so. Anything else on that? Okay, we're gonna get into the fun stuff as we can spend some time here. And I've got Zan and Aiden, come here. And Brendan, come out here too, even though you're tardy, come on. Miss Chandler, raise your hand, Chandler. So hey, I would be sad if I didn't introduce Chandler. He walked in just a minute late. We won't give too much of a hard time. But he's one of our main youth coaches as well. He's been coaching youth wrestling for 3 years. He's a Nixa High School graduate. He went and wrestled in college for a few years at Graceland University, and he's more recently gotten into the MMA fighting. And I believe he's 2-0 with a chokeout and a knockout. Is that? What's that?
2 knockouts.
Oh, 2 knockouts, my apologies. But that's Chandler McAtee, he does a great job for us as well. So, real quick here, these two guys are gonna demonstrate some stuff. I brought Brendan in here, he's not gonna demonstrate anything, he's a little bigger, he just got fully released from his shoulder surgery, but I wanna tell you guys, in our program, it's unbelievable some of the levels of success that we're having right now. So Brendan Carey was a Fargo national champion, and I know a lot of people in here are newer to wrestling, so that means absolutely nothing to you, but there's 3 styles. International wrestling or Olympic wrestling is freestyle and Greco-Roman. We do not do that in high school. That's a off-season. It's weird that the U.S. doesn't, but whatever. So Brennan won a national championship in Greco-Roman, which is, we've never had anybody, to my knowledge, south of I-44 in the state of Missouri ever win a Fargo national title. So Nix has never had one, no surrounding area. So for Brennan to go to Fargo and win a national championship is absolutely massive. So I just wanted to introduce Brennan, give him a round of applause. Brendan is a junior, he got 3rd at state last year, and we're hoping to have a great year. So next up is Aiden Ward, and Aiden has great accomplishments. He was a heck of a youth wrestler. He was a high school state qualifier last year. So Aiden's a very, very skilled wrestler, and we are counting on him big time this year to take another step up for us to reach our goals. But unfortunately, standing beside both of these guys, he's low man on the totem pole, but he's a very skilled, very accomplished wrestler, so I don't want to sell Aiden Ward short. He's going to be one of my demo guys. Next up is Zan Fugit, and this is Zan's senior year, so I'm just dragging him through all the PR stuff. He's definitely earned it. Zan, he got to wrestle in the World Championships this summer in Rome, Italy. I actually got the privilege to go out there with him and sit on the mat and coach him. It's very rare. We've never had a world team ever. I mean, that's incredibly rare to have that in our program. He's going to the University of Oklahoma next year, signing a full ride letter of intent on Wednesday. Two-time state champ, senior, getting ready to go for his third state championship. And on the inside, it's cool. All three of these guys are unbelievable leaders, helping their teammates. I know Zan last year was giving me notes on what we need to do with our 45-pounder Nate Brower. You know, he's like, man, he needs to work on this. And that's really rare. I'm around going on some of these trips. You see the other high-level kids, and they don't all act like that. So that's really impressive. So let's give Zan and Aiden a big round of applause. So the only thing that we're going to be short of today is a headgear, okay? They don't even have headgear yet. So headgear is required for all competition. We don't have one, that's fine. Eric will get one here in a minute. But you do have to have a headgear on for practice. We don't require it. If you are somebody that's like, nope, my kid's going to wear headgear in practice, then that's absolutely fine. Okay, you guys wear headgear, but it's mostly required for competition. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to kind of walk them through a little bit of a match. I'm going to have Mr. Neely kind of take the lead, and we're going to stop and interject. It's by no means going to be a continuous match. We're going to put them in a position, talk about out of bounds, and all that good stuff. You want to take over this?
All right, just real quick, show of hands. Who has never seen a wrestling match before? As far as your kids or anything? Okay, good. That's what today is for, is to help you guys out. We could stay here for 5 or 6 hours. You would never learn everything you need to know about wrestling, for sure. So Coach Martin's holding up the headgear right here. This is required. Whenever they wrestle, they have to keep it on. It is required to where if it falls off, we stop the match and have them put it back on as long as nothing active is going on. First things wrestlers will do is they will report to the head table. So essentially when they report, they